Hello guys, welcome to Adding Up to Equal 1. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of math. Music is math, whether you like it or not. So we're going to break up some of these note values into their decimal version to make our point. So we've learned so far that here, I'll make a measure here. Okay, so we've talked about time signatures already and having 4 beats in the measure. So we've always seen our diagram like this, and we got our downbeats here. Okay, so this would sound like, this is how we would count this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's what we're working with. Okay, so let's look at a whole note. Okay, a whole note we know is going to receive 4 beats. So because it's a whole note, we call it a whole note because it takes up the whole measure, the entire measure. So technically, this measure is already complete. We can't add any more into this measure because we already have 1. That's what we're referring to as the 1. Is the measure complete? Is every single space inside that measure, is it fulfilled? So right here we would say yes, we would give that a check. If I were to, let's say, write a half note and a quarter. Alright, so this right here, we've got half, which is like 0.5 or like 50%. Just taking up these 2 boxes. Then we have this quarter here, which is like 0.25 or 25%. If we add those up together, we only have 75%. And so we still have some missing information. So this measure would not be considered complete. Right now, our options that we have here, we could possibly add another 25% here, and then you would have 100%. Or we could even add 2 eighth notes, which would create 25%, which would complete the measure. So I'll just give you a couple more examples. This isn't too hard to understand, but it is very useful when you are writing your own music, because you need to go back and check your work and make sure that you didn't leave out a 16th note or leave out an 8th note, or maybe you have too much information. It's always good to go back and check your work and almost just add up your fractions, add up your decimals, yeah? So here, let's try this. Okay, so we got a quarter note. It's going to be like 25%. And we got a half note. That's going to give you 75%. We've got this guy here. You think this makes 1? Does a quarter plus an eighth plus a half, does that equal 1? The answer is no. So we would either have to add another eighth note here, or we could have even added its pause or rest, like an eighth note rest. Now this would be complete. Alright, so we just looked at an example of not putting enough information. So if you remember, we had an eighth note missing. Now let's try and put too much information in the measure and see what that looks like. So for example, things that cannot happen. A half note with a half note and a quarter. That would give me like 1.25. Right? So here we've got a half and a half note. This already completes our measure. Then we've got this extra information here. Can't happen. Right, so that's how we correct this. Let's look at another one. So here we have a whole note. This already equals up to 1. So this guy here, that's going to be extra. So to solve this, we need to erase that. Let's see here. A quarter quarter, a quarter, and 4/8 notes. So here we've got a quarter, 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 that equals up to 75%. And then we've got 2/8, which equal up to a quarter. So right there, we already have enough information. And we've got these extra eighths here. That can't happen. So to solve this, we need to erase that. The point is, when you're writing music, you want to always be sure that the amount of information that you put inside the measure equals up to 1. That's just the rule. And this is going to get harder and harder as we start breaking the notes down into smaller values. So when you're dealing with 16th notes or even 32nd notes, you could have 32 notes here. It's actually pretty easy to lose track and put an extra 32nd or to not have that 32nd. So you just always need to keep this in your mind. Like, are the cliches and the notes that I'm writing at the end of my measure, is it creating 1? Are you adding up to equal 1? Thank you.